Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the program. It's Tuesday, October 6th, coming to you live from our studio in Seoul. I'm Kim Jongun. Before we get started, these are the stories we're following at the top of the hour. U.S. President Donald Trump has been discharged from hospital after being treated for COVID-19 for 3 days. The WHO warns that roughly 1 in 10 people globally may have already been infected with the novel coronavirus, warning that the world is heading into a difficult period with the virus continuing to spread. And this year's Nobel Prize in Medicine went to 3 scientists who discovered the hepatitis C virus, leading to breakthrough in the development of cures for liver-related diseases. Our top story this morning, President Trump is back at home in the White House after just 3 days of COVID-19 treatment. His physician says he's in good condition, but he will continue receiving medical care while in quarantine. Our Min Soo-hyun has more.
President Trump is back at the White House after leaving Walter Reed Medical Center Monday evening. Upon arrival at around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, he stood on the balcony to pose for a picture where he gave reporters a double thumbs up as a sign of his good health. However, medical staff say that the president is taking antiviral and steroid treatment as he may still have an active case of the virus. While in quarantine at the White House, he's expected to receive an unprecedented level of care for COVID-19, according to his physician.
Though he may not entirely be out of the woods yet, the team and I agree that all our evaluations, and most importantly, his clinical status, support the president's safe return home, where he'll be surrounded by world-class medical care 24/7.
Trump's return to the presidential residence is viewed as troublesome as the White House has become a contagion hotspot with many of his staff testing positive. Among the infected is White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, who said in a statement on Monday that she has the virus but is experiencing no symptoms. So far, at least a dozen people, including Trump's close aides, campaign staff, and senators, have been diagnosed with COVID-19. Meanwhile, Trump has a series of presidential debates lined up ahead of the upcoming election on November 3rd. It's unclear whether Trump will be on stage with Joe Biden in the debate next week. Min Soo-hyun, Arirang News.
The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says that COVID-19 can spread through airborne transmission. The updated COVID-19 guidance shows the virus can be transmitted between people who are around 1.8 meters apart. The CDC says this is possible because particles in the air can linger for minutes or even hours, with transmission most likely in areas that are poorly ventilated. Experts say people should also be aware that activities such as singing and exercising can lead to the virus spreading. The new findings come after a previous guideline posting was uploaded in error. The World Health Organization says around 10% of the world's population may have had COVID-19 more than 20 times its official tallies. Our Kim Hyo-sun reports.
The WHO warns that roughly 1 in 10 people across the world may have already been infected with the novel coronavirus, warning that the world is heading into a difficult period with the virus continuing to spread.
Our current best estimates tell us that about 10% of the global population may have been infected by this virus. This varies depending on country, it varies from urban to rural, it varies between different groups. But what it does mean is that the vast majority of the world remains at risk.
This means that the total global caseload could amount to more than 760 million people based on the current world population of about 7.6 billion. This is far more than the tallies released by the World Health Body, which stands at over 35 million globally. The head of emergencies at the WHO also stressed that many continents face a surge in cases, including Southeast Asia and Europe. His remarks come as many European nations have reported record-high daily cases lately. In response, the French government raised the alert level in Paris on Sunday, leading to the closure of bars for 15 days, starting Tuesday. Similar restrictions are also being reimposed in Madrid as well, as the city accounts for some 1/3 of all new cases in Spain. Spain has ordered a 2-week ban on all non-essential trips in and out of the capital. Many business establishments, such as restaurants and stores, will have to close earlier than usual and reduce their occupancy to 50% of their capacity. Iran also set a new record in the number of daily COVID-19 infections on Monday, with over 3,900 cases. As a response, the country has imposed a second lockdown of Tehran to contain the spread of the virus, which includes shutting down schools, movie theaters, coffee shops, and many other multi-use facilities. Kim Jongun, Arirang News.
China has reportedly put a planned visit of its top diplomat to South Korea this month on hold due to conflicting schedules. According to a diplomatic source, the two countries had been in talks to have Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi travel to Seoul in mid-October, but the potential trip has been delayed indefinitely. While there was speculation that the trip may have been postponed following the cancellation of U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo's visit to Seoul, the source says Wang's decision was made in advance. North Korean leader Kim Jongun has reportedly presided over a politburo meeting of the ruling Workers' Party to discuss major political agenda items. According to the North state-run news agency, Kim stressed that the party and the North Korean people will jointly carry out a, quote, 80-day battle until the end of the year to fully prepare for the 8th Congress of the ruling party scheduled for early next year. Lee Byung-chul, vice chairman of the party's Central Committee, and Park Jung-chun, chief of the General Staff of the North's Army, were also officially named to head the North's military. On the COVID-19 situation here in South Korea, the nation reported 75 new cases on Tuesday, seeing the number of daily infections stay below 100 for the 6th day in a row. Of the new cases, 66 were locally transmitted and 9 were from overseas. The total number of cases stands at over 24,000. No additional deaths from the virus have been reported, with the death toll staying at 422. South Korea's consumer inflation in September saw its biggest increase in 6 months. According to Statistics Korea on Tuesday, last month's consumer price index stood at 106.2, up 1% compared to a year earlier. This was mostly caused by a rise in prices of agricultural, livestock, and fisheries products due to the long monsoon season, with the price of vegetables rising by around 35% on year. But Statistics Korea said inflationary pressure still remains low due to low oil prices and consumers refraining from dining out amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The South Korean government is not only focused on battling COVID-19. Officials are also looking to be prepared for the post-pandemic era. For one, they're seeking to pass new rules that would prevent massive deficit spending. Our Ji-young fills us in.
The rules proposed by the Moon Jae-in administration aim to keep rising government debt in check and ensure the country's fiscal soundness. Introducing the plan in a briefing on Monday, Finance Minister Hong Nam-ki said that South Korea has recently had no choice but to spend more to overcome the economic crisis caused by COVID-19. Not only is the country's economic growth slowing down, he said, it faces more public spending in the future as its population rapidly ages.
The government has devised a fiscal rule suitable for South Korea by setting standards for the national debt and the deficit in a way commonly used in countries around the world.
Under the plan, either government debt should stay under 60% of GDP or the deficit should not exceed 3% of GDP. If either factor exceeds its threshold, then the government will make adjustments so that the other meets the target. But in times of recession or economic crisis, the fiscal rules are to be temporarily waived or eased. Because the government is still dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, the fiscal rules will be implemented from 2025 if approved by the National Assembly. Minister Hong said South Korea's general government debt to GDP ratio currently stands at around 40%, which is relatively good compared to the average of the OECD member countries of 108.9%. But because South Korea's ratio is expected to rise to about 59% by 2024, the government also plans to raise the minimum amount of surplus tax revenues that have to go to debt service from the current 30% to 50%. Ji-young, Arirang News.
3 scientists won the Nobel Prize in Medicine on Monday for discovering the hepatitis C virus. The breakthrough discovery led to cures for the deadly disease and tests to keep the virus out of the blood supply. Our Lee Seung-jae reports.
This year's Nobel Prize in Medicine went to 3 scientists who discovered the liver-ravaging hepatitis C virus.
The Nobel Assembly at Karolinska Institutet has today decided to award the 2020 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine jointly to Harvey J. Alter, Michael Horton, and Charles M. Rice for the discovery of hepatitis C virus.
Announcing the winners in Stockholm on Monday, the Nobel Committee noted that the 3 scientists helped explain a major source of blood-borne hepatitis that couldn't be explained by the hepatitis A and B virus. It added their work made possible blood tests and new medicine that has since saved millions of lives. The disease can now be cured, raising hopes that hepatitis C can eventually be eradicated. The WHO estimates over 70 million cases of hepatitis and 400,000 deaths are reported worldwide each year. The disease is chronic and a major cause of liver inflammation and cancer. Different from hepatitis A, which is transmitted through food or water and causes an acute infection that can last a few weeks, hepatitis B and C are transmitted through blood. Alter and Rice are currently working on COVID-19 research, while Houghton is in the process of developing a vaccine for hepatitis C. Watchers say this year's Nobel Prize in Medicine carries particular significance due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which has highlighted the importance of medical research for societies and economies around the world. The prize comes with a gold medal and winner's check of over $1.1 million, which will be split 3 ways. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
K-pop superstars BTS ranked number 2 on Billboard's main singles chart for the 6th week since the release of their latest hit, Dynamite. As the first South Korean artist to top the Billboard 100, the global hitmakers continue to dominate the U.S. music industry. Since its splashing debut, BTS hit the number 1 spot for 3 non-consecutive weeks before dropping to number 2. On this week's Hot 100 chart, Travis Scott's Franchise debuted at number 1, while Cardi B's WAP featuring Megan Thee Stallion slips to number 3.
Good morning. A blast of chilly air has hit much of Korean peninsula again this morning, and the photos next to me were taken in Daegwallyeong in Gangwon-do province in early dawn, and you can see plants coated with frost already. In fact, Daegwallyeong had sub-zero temperatures to start out the day. It feels like the weather, though, has jumped straight into mid-autumn after a long holiday. Well, dress extra warmly on your way out. The temperatures will stay below the season norms in most parts of the country. But sunshine will dominate nationwide, and the highs this afternoon will make it to the 20s in most parts of the country. Temperatures will return to the season norms as the week goes on. Conditions will stay dry and mostly sunny in the capital region, while it's going to rain in Gyeongsangnam-do and Jeju on Friday, which is Hangul Day, while another band of rain is in the forecast for the East Coast and Jeju on Saturday. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the weather conditions around the world.
That's a wrap for us at the hour on Arirang News. We'll be back with more of the day's headlines at noon Korea time, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
Small business owners have been hit hard by the resurgence of COVID-19. According to a survey by the Korea Federation of Micro Enterprise, 96.4% of the respondents said the resurgence of COVID-19 had a